Hello, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we'll break down everything you need to know about XLOOKUP, from the basic syntax to real-world examples that you can use right away. Whether you're just starting out or looking to sharpen your Excel skills, this video has something for everyone. The datasets we use are linked in the video description, so don't forget to check them out and follow along. Also, remember to hit the like button and subscribe for more tips. Let's dive in and master XLOOKUP. What is XLOOKUP? XLOOKUP is an Excel function that lets users search for a value within a range or array and return a corresponding value from another range or array. Introduced in Excel 365 and Excel 2021, it offers a more flexible and powerful alternative to traditional lookup functions like VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and LOOKUP. The basic syntax of XLOOKUP without any optional parameters starts with an equal sign followed by XLOOKUP and an open parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, you'll provide three elements: the lookup value, the value you want to search for; the lookup array, the range or array where the function will search for the lookup value; and the return array, the range or array from which to return the value once the lookup value is found. So suppose we have a table containing a list of transaction IDs in one column and their corresponding amount in another. We can use XLOOKUP to quickly find the amount of a specific transaction by searching its transaction ID. For instance, let's say we want the transaction amount for transaction ID TX1043. In the adjacent cell, we'll type an equal sign followed by XLOOKUP and an open parenthesis. Inside the parentheses, we'll enter the transaction ID, or H2, as the lookup value, which is the value we want to find a corresponding amount. Next, we'll specify the range of cells in the transaction ID column as the lookup array. This is the range where we'll search for the lookup value. Lastly, we'll specify the range of cells in the amount column as the return array. This is where the corresponding amount will be located. We'll then close with a right parenthesis and hit enter. As demonstrated, if we scroll down to locate the row containing this specific transaction ID, we can see that XLOOKUP has successfully retrieved the correct corresponding amount from the data range. Using XLOOKUP for horizontal lookup. Depending on how our dataset is organized, we may need to search across a row rather than down a column. This is where XLOOKUP for horizontal lookups comes in handy. For example, if product names are listed as headers in a single row, with each column beneath containing quarterly prices, a horizontal lookup allows us to quickly find the data linked to a specific product. The syntax for a horizontal lookup with XLOOKUP is similar to a vertical lookup. The main difference is the orientation of the lookup and return arrays. So for example, let's say we want to find the prices for quarter 3 and quarter 4 for a product like the digital camera. In the adjacent cell, we'll start by typing an equal sign followed by XLOOKUP and then an open parenthesis. Inside the parentheses, we'll enter the product name, which is digital camera, or use cell reference 01 as our lookup value. This value represents the specific product for which we want to retrieve the corresponding price. Next, we'll specify the range of cells in the product name row as the lookup array. This is the row where we'll search for our lookup value. Lastly, we'll specify the range of cells in the Q3 price row as the return array. This is the row that contains the corresponding price we want to retrieve. We'll then close with a right parenthesis and hit enter. As shown, XLOOKUP first performed a horizontal search across the specified row to locate the lookup value, which in this case is digital camera. Once it found this value, it returned the corresponding price from the Q3 row, providing us with the desired information we needed. Similarly, to find the Q4 price, we just need to change the return array to match the range of cells in the Q4 price row. Using XLOOKUP with a dependent drop-down list for the lookup value. So expanding on the previous example, if we want to avoid typing a new product name each time to find the associated quarterly prices, we can make the process much smoother and more user-friendly by creating a dependent drop-down list. To set this up, we'll start by selecting the cell where we want to create the drop-down list, which in this case is 01. Next, we'll navigate to the Data tab and select Data Validation. In the Data Validation settings, we'll choose List under the validation criteria. We'll then specify the range containing the product names in the source field. Once that's set, we'll click OK to apply the changes. As demonstrated, each time we select a different product name from the dropdown in cell O1, the formulas in cell O2 and O3 automatically update to show the price for that specific product. This saves us the effort of typing a different product name every time we want to look up a new one. Multiple value returns. A key advantage of XLOOKUP is its dynamic array support, enabling it to automatically return multiple values in a spilled array. This feature allows XLOOKUP to return a range of results instead of just one, making it especially useful when you need multiple related values returned at once. So for example, if we want to retrieve both the amount and category for a specific transaction ID, we would start by typing an equal sign in cell I2, followed by XLOOKUP and an open parenthesis. Inside the parentheses, we'll enter the transaction ID, or H2, as the lookup value. Next, we'll specify the range of cells in the transaction ID column as the lookup array. Lastly, we'll set the return array to cover the range of cells in both the amount and category columns. Since we want to retrieve both the amount and category for the specified transaction ID, including both columns in the return array enables XLOOKUP to return both values at once. We'll then close the formula with a right parenthesis and hit Enter. As shown, setting the return array to include both the amount and category columns allows XLOOKUP to automatically retrieve and display values from both columns for the specified transaction ID. This feature is very convenient when returning multiple related items for the same lookup value, as it eliminates the need to type multiple XLOOKUP formulas. XLOOKUP across multiple sheets. Frequently, we find ourselves needing to consolidate data from various sheets in Excel, making XLOOKUP across sheets incredibly useful. For example, imagine a situation where product details are listed in one sheet and sales records for those products are in another. If we want to add a column in the product sheet to display each product's corresponding total sales, XLOOKUP allows us to seamlessly pull that data across sheets. So to do this, we'll first select the cell in the total sales column where we intend to display the value retrieved from the sales sheet. Next, we'll start entering the XLOOKUP formula, which begins with an equal sign followed by XLOOKUP and an opening parenthesis. Inside the parentheses, we'll set the lookup value as the first cell in the product ID column. Since we're aiming to retrieve the total sales from the sales details sheet, the lookup range will consist of the cells that contain the product IDs in that sheet. When referencing a cell or range from another sheet in Excel, the syntax requires the sheet name followed by an exclamation mark. This convention is essential as it clearly identifies which sheet the referenced cells come from, helping to distinguish them from cells in the current sheet. Fortunately, Excel makes this process easy by automatically inserting the correct sheet reference when we click on the sheet. So, all we need to do is specify the range of cells that contain the product IDs. Similarly, we'll specify the range of cells in the total sales column as the return array. After that, we will close the formula with a right parenthesis and press Enter. As demonstrated, the formula accurately retrieves the corresponding total sales from the sales sheet. Before copying the formula to populate the entire column, it's crucial to change both the lookup range and the return range into absolute cell references. This step ensures that these ranges remain constant and do not change as we drag the formula down or across other cells. So, to create an absolute cell reference, we will simply add a $sign before both the column letter and the row number. Once that is done, we can proceed to copy this formula down to fill the cells in the rest of the column. And that brings us to the end of this tutorial. Thank you for joining us as we explored XLOOKUP. We hope you found the information useful and are looking forward to implementing these techniques in your own projects. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to leave them below. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more Excel tips and tutorials. We'll see you in the next video.